Hi, Victoria. How you doing?
Joan, I'm good. How are you?
I got to show you what just came in the mail from HempWorks. Okay. Look, I want you to know that the shampoo and conditioner is fantastic. If you're not using it, you should use it. Yes. And then I'll tell you what else came today. My fruit gummies, the CBD fruit gummies. When you take them, each one is like 25 milligrams. They are fantastic for you and your body. I take them a couple of times a day. They help with anxiety. Do you take them?
I do. I tend to forget that I have the gummies, but I take my CBD and other.
Oh, you do, right? Right? You do. You take it.
I have some CBD pills, not pills.
Oh, you have the capsules.
I have the capsules, yeah.
Yes, I love the capsules. I also like the Relief. This is a cream that we use to put on pain. So it's a topical cream, cooling. And so I use this all the time.
I do too.
So I'm so happy it came. And then I have the tinctures. And some people love using the tinctures, 500, 750, and 1500. So you can get more concentrated doses if you need higher amounts of CBD.
Yeah, I have it in like 6 different flavors.
I knew they came in too. Okay, good. And the last thing I want to tell everyone about today is the hand and body lotion, which I'm sending this up to my son. I love this stuff.
It smells amazing and it's very luxurious.
I guess that's the word I'd use. It's really luxurious. It's a top quality product with hemp, good for your skin, and enriches it. Okay?
Yeah. So we love HempWorks. We're going to leave our links in the comments below. If you want to learn more, you can go to Joan's HempWorks site or to my HempWorks site, whichever one resonates with you.
All right. And happy CBD.
And now let's get our show started.
Right. Let's get our show started. And
okay. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Fearless and Free TV. I'm super excited today to share with you my friend Joan of Angels. I interviewed her a couple of months ago when we had just recently met on another program that we're a part of, and we've become like best buddies, long lost soul sisters, having the best time playing with Joan in Palm Springs and enjoying the summer sun. And I'm kind of bummed I'm heading home later because we've been having so much fun here. And we wore our crowns today to remember our divinities. We are divine beings having a human experience. And so I'm having a lot of fun getting to know Joan and who she is and who she is being in the world. I'm trying to use being instead of doing because it isn't about what we do, it's about who we be. So I'm getting to know Joan and who she is being in the world and what her amazing gifts are. So Joan, what did we want to talk about today? We talked about discernment. We were talking about
discernment, and also how to navigate your own way through these upcoming, continuing, changing times. You know, how to know who you are, know what your purpose is so that you can stay grounded when the world around you seems to be shifting so quickly. You know, the regulations are still changing, gas prices going up, you know, our vaccine programs, COVID, we're still in all of that. And so my focus has always been, how do we kind of step into who we are? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So the thing with discernment that's interesting, I started saying a couple of years ago that we're past the information age and now we're in the age of discernment. And that has become so incredibly obvious over the last year to 2 years. All of the information that we're being bombarded with, what part of it is true and what part of it is false and what part of it is a deception and what part of it is misinformation, because there's misinformation across the entire spectrum. This isn't about being on one side or being on the other side, because there's misinformation across the board and there's truth across the board. And so we have to get really, really good at disseminating the information and discerning which information is true and which information is false, which information is based in freedom, which information is based in control, disguised as safety and security, and really be able to decipher that. And a whole lot of people, because they're only seeing one side of the story, aren't getting enough information to make conscious choice. So that's one of the things too, that we might have free will choice, but we don't have free conscious choice because most people are only getting part of the information.
Right? I totally agree. And I've developed some processes for discernment. And I feel that, so this is what I do for discernment. I break it down. What information? How comfortable am I when I go out with people? How do I feel? How does this sit with me? Do I feel happier when I'm with those people or less? And I actually work a lot. When I work with clients, I work with this scale from 1 to 10. Okay, you use it in your mind's eye. I used to do this in my chiropractic office with patients, with my AIDS patients, to get them to get to the best testing. And we would do it in our mind's eye and visualize it. A scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being over here, it's 100% turned on, 0 being turned off. And then where on that scale do you want to be? Mm-hmm. So, for instance, with the AIDS patients, we would put their test scores to perfect over here. But with discernment, you might go, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 being, okay, I'm starting to feel a little better. 0, 1, 2, 2, 3 being angry, irritable, low frequency. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel when you walk in the door of your house? Mm-hmm. Okay, how do you feel when you go to that event with those people? And so discernment is a training of your intuitive gifts to know what is working for you, because everything they put out there is not for you. It's how they would like it to be, but how does this sit with me? That's right. Discernment. How do I know what's true? Well, you don't know what's true when you read the media. You have to see how it sits with you. Right. So like when we had the we had the radiation leakage over in Japan a few years ago, mm-hmm. when the nuclear
from the tsunami,
yeah. So when it was flooded, everyone believed the government that, oh, it's going to be fine. I'm walking around telling my friends this is not going to be fine, and they go, but Joan, the newspaper says, media says, and I go, I know internal. I can trust my internal guidance, and that is really critical. Mm-hmm. And
it turns out that the nuclear plant is still leaking radiation.
Yes, I was right all along. But if you fact checked me, I would have been wrong. Right?
Right.
And so that's why I talk about discernment, because it's not an outer thing. It's really an inner thing. It's really allowing your consciousness to go, oh, wait, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't feel good.
Like the door-to-door, the military is now going to assist us in making sure everyone gets the little arm pokies. And I saw it being promoted that way by the media, that now the government's going to help all of us, all those people who couldn't make it to a clinic to get the arm pokies. They're going to come door to door and assist us in making sure that we get.
Or all those people who have said no, don't want to be having. So,
but is that real? But we have to decipher, is that freedom? So some people are just assuming, oh, this is for everybody's good. It's for everyone's good if the government navigates this. And there are some of us who are saying, wait a minute, this is overstepping. It's government overstepping our personal rights. It's an overreach of personal rights.
This is your body, and no one gets to choose what you eat and what you put into your body. And if you believe in health coming from within, then you'd have a totally different point of view than people who want to take that. And I get some people want to take the, that's okay. But if other people don't, and the government has to send people to your door, my discernment goes, that's like crap. Okay.
Yeah.
They have to send someone to pay, give me $1 million to take this or shoot me to force it. Something is wrong. And so that's even the willingness to question what is going on around you. And that's a whole other ball of wax. Mm-hmm. You don't question unless you actually begin to know more about your own values, who you are, what you stand for, why you're here. Okay. And that's why I talk about soul awakening so much. Learning what you're here to do. What are your best skills? How you're tripping yourself up? What are your obstacles? What are your, where do you need
and what's your core value system too, right? I mean, because that's a big part of it, right?
So the big picture of why you're here helps you look at, okay, that's my body, I think I'll keep it, whole and intact. And on the spiritual path, by the way, what you put in your body and your mind determines your vibration. And I've done some research on this. Heavy foods, meat have a low vibratory frequency. Certain megahertz music, some of the new tones now, in the 400s, even up to the 900s, heal you. But hard rock on the lower vibrations disintegrates your body. So discernment is going, okay, what about what I'm eating? The thoughts, what news programs, right?
Everything we put in our body. Here's one thing a lot of people and mind and heart. And so what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to meat, for example, is that we become what we eat, right?
Yes.
So if we're eating animals who have been fed crap and who have been tortured and that sort of thing, we're actually ingesting their disease.
Yes.
Their dis-ease, right? So when we eat animals' bodies that have been stressed, we're basically taking on their stress. And
yes.
Yeah, and that's actually been proven.
And so your body reacts by operating at a lower vibratory frequency. And if you're on the path of transformation or transcendence or ascension, you want to work on raising your vibratory frequency so you can be in the higher levels with those higher dimensional beings.
Yeah.
This is a hard planet on 3D. There's a lot of opportunities if you start to look at your life from a higher perspective.
So because this is one of the things we've gotten some flack about is everybody has to become vegan. Not necessarily, but if eating meat resonates with your body, this is about consciously choosing humanely raised meat.
Yes.
Consciously choosing organically raised meat. So that way you're not ingesting the disease that the animal has experienced in its lifetime.
Or their mental attitude, which is fear and distrust, and then you're eating that food. So one way you can mitigate this, though, is through the process of energizing your food. That's why people say a prayer.
Bless their food.
And bless their food. May this food nurture, support me, and raise my own vibratory frequency. And you can.
You can clear it before you eat it.
Yes, and you can clear it. So all this is called discernment of what you take in your body, your mind, and your spirit. If you're watching, CNN before you go to bed, don't be surprised if you're having bad dreams and you wake up in a bad mood, because news is just, there's no channels that talk about happy news. We don't turn on the news and go, oh, right, so-and-so gave hundreds of thousands of dollars and we did the gardens over here, and just people don't get excited about all the good news.
Well, that is coming in the future, where we are going to be able to turn on a news channel to see all the good that's happening in the world today. And I am so excited for that to happen.
Right. Yeah. That's why I talk about stepping into the miraculous, because we're stepping out of our 3D. So part of the 3D consciousness is you eat what's in front of you. You do what's in front of you. You don't even think about it. You just do it. And honestly, at this point, with all the stuff that's going on, it's time to think about it. Think more about what it is you do want, what you want to eat, one thing that's clear is who you hang out with.
Absolutely.
Who are your friends? Victoria and I gave her a new word this week, miracle allies. What's a miracle ally? Someone who supports you in your dreams, helps you implement them, activates you, brainstorms with you, you get smarter, as opposed to a miracle buster.
Well, yeah. And those are kind of like the relationships we have by default. So I tell my kids all the time, be careful who you choose to have as friends, because we become like the people we hang out with. Right. So how many people as adults consciously choose their friends and consciously choose who to not be friends with? And part of moving into this new reality we're creating is a willingness to let go of the people who are not a vibrational match.
Right, because they lower your energy. They take from you. You're in a great mood, and by the time you're ending the conversation, they're in a great mood, but you're not. And that's what discernment's about. How do I feel when I'm with this person? When I leave this encounter, am I feeling uplifted or depressed? Okay, when I told my friend what I'm about to do with my broadcasting, and did they support me, or did they just go, oh God, Joan, no, how are you really going to do it? You think you can reach millions of people? And that's a miracle buster. Right? We all have miracle busters in our life. You don't take your dreams to them.
Oh, no. And I even talk about that. So I have a program, my 60 Money Tree is coming up in about a month. And I talk about that specifically in one of the classes.
Yeah. My kids and I formed the Miracle Makers Club to brainstorm and mastermind to success.
Yeah.
That's all we talked about. You know?
All right, how many people get together and all they do is talk about failure? That's what's interesting. You get together with your friends and all just sit around and have a pity party about how everything is bad, and that it was like a failure party.
Well, it is. It's like we're celebrating our failures.
Yeah.
I tell people when they come in here for readings, so I do a lot of readings online, in person, soul awakening type readings. But when people come in, I give them like 120 seconds to dump their misery. And I tell them as the sage goes, and I sometimes won't even let anyone in here until I've saged them. You were good. I didn't have to sage you.
That's because I clear myself all the time.
Right?
And I actually put a bubble around myself so I don't pick up anybody else's junk.
Yeah, no, it's so true, to protect your energetic frequency. But first you have to discern that it needs to be.
Right.
You know, that, oh yeah, God, I felt so good, now I don't. And then you go on a scale of 1 to 10, how do I really feel? Oh God, I feel like 2 or 3. Then you know that's not the place to go or the people to hang out with. And it becomes really clear because you have a measuring stick. You know, like, this is what is in my mind. When I hang out with Victoria Reynolds, holy moly, I'm like 1,000 plus, because why? We're co-creating. Each one of us we have more and more things to say. And although I know there's a few difficult challenges, she knows mine, we just look at how we're going to solve them. We don't even delve into the baggage that is so heavy. Let's talk about that. The people carry this baggage.
Well, the crazy thing is, people carry their own baggage, but then they also carry other people's baggage too. It's like going to the airport and then loading up one of those giant carts with all of your stuff and all of your family stuff and your friend's stuff and the stuff from a boyfriend who broke your heart in high school. I mean, so people are carrying around their baggage and then dragging this giant cart of other people's baggage along with them. And
how far do you get?
Can't take any of it into the new world.
Can't take it to heaven. Okay, you can't shift your vibration. So the real key is, especially with this new energy we have now, this new planetary energy, it's all about awakening, uplifting. And so it's actually, if you can see the door here, you go, okay, what parts of me I don't want to take with me?
Right.
You know, I don't want to take that side that's depressed or that side that doesn't believe she can. I don't even want to take those miracle busters with me.
Yeah. So I got a great visual at Christmas time. I had pulled all my Christmas stuff out. And this message that came in from Spirit is that imagine you are moving to a new world. What would you take with you? And I looked at all of my stuff and I was like, pretty much nothing. There isn't really a lot I want to take with me. And what I had seen before that is like, imagine you're packing a suitcase to go someplace, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to take this with me and this with me and this with me. And maybe a couple of memories you might stick in there because there are a couple of stories that might assist you at some point in your life. But pretty much the rest of the baggage, you're just going to leave. Don't pack light, right?
Right.
Don't pack anything you don't really need. So,
right. And that includes your thoughts.
Right.
Okay.
And your beliefs.
Yes. And how do you then know so after all these years, we have a set of thoughts and a set of beliefs. Okay. But some of them are not quite aligned with where you are today.
So, or where we want to go.
Or where you want to go. And some of them are so filled with kind of obstacles on your path. So what I like to do is really clarify why I'm here, why you're here. What are you about? What is it what's going to knock your soul? What are the tools that you've been given to shift into this higher frequency, to shift into success, to shift into manifesting, to shift into the miraculous. Like, what are the tools that you've been given this life to do that? And that's what I call soul purpose, soul awakening, to remember that we have this other side that's not all weighted down in all of that other trappings.
Well, and our true self really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I call it, it's not like we get older and then we, people change.
They do though.
Well, no, they don't. People get, when we start to have our spiritual awakening, we start to peel off all the layers of who we are not.
Yes.
So it isn't about changing who we are. It's about re-becoming who we were when we came in. Yeah. And removing everything that isn't who we are.
Yes, because we're becoming
our true self.
Our true self. And this pandemic is a global initiation, giving each and every one of you a chance to cocoon and to emerge with a different philosophy or a more broader philosophy of who you are or could be.
Yeah. I call it the giant pause button.
Oh yeah, we've been on that giant pause button, but not really, because I don't know about you, but I've been breaking down what I want, how I want to come out on the other side of this, and my energy, and that I'm a leader, and that I love teaching people how to go through these difficult times. Mm-hmm. You and I were born for that, and probably many of our audience was too, that these are the times we were born for.
Yes, and these are the times that the light workers have been practicing for, right? We've been practicing on each other for years, and now it's like the world is like, okay, time to stop practicing. It's time to start moving into action and being in divine action, because the rest of the world is now waking up and are going to need what we have to offer. And so in my case, I teach people how to transcend their fear-based beliefs, and in your case, you do soul awakening,
step into the miraculous.
Purpose. Yeah,
I teach you how to identify those tools that you've been given, okay, and master them and grow them so you can actually function and then transcend. See, we work together.
Yeah. There is no competition in the new worlds.
No, and we are stepping into a new world, so the energy is changing. And we can choose. Now, this is a choice level. If you want to choose the same old, go ahead. But honestly, there's new opportunities now about to happen as you clarify and activate your body, mind, and spirit for success. It's an alignment. Mm-hmm. It's a tune-up. It's a reboot and reset, just like they're doing with the planet. Only you're resetting it from the inside out.
Right?
Not according to what they're telling you to reset it, but wait, what is my reset? I'm in a personal Joan of Angels, Victoria Reynolds, or our audience. How are you resetting?
Right. And it's really about going inside ourselves. Now, this new reality that we're creating, this heaven that we're bringing to earth, is all heart-based. And that's something that humanity, I don't know if we've ever experienced a heart-based reality, a love-based reality. So this is about going past what the ego says we want, and it's going into our heart and what feels best inside our heart, because our heart is actually being activated. The human heart hasn't worked to its full potential, and I don't know if ever, because fear creates an encapsulation of the heart, basically creates heart disease, dis-ease, being out of our natural state. The human being's natural state is a state of ease. We come in as love, having a human experience, and then we learn dis-ease, which is created by fear. And so our hearts have never worked to their fullest potential because fear has so permeated every aspect of the human experience. So once we learn how to recognize fear, our heart can start working properly, and our entire electromagnetic field changes. Our heart opens up, and we become the light. Remember that even Jesus, Yeshua, talked about that. about the light that's within, and to be the light. And that's why I use my saying is, hold your light so high others can't help but see their own light.
I love that. But when you're operating from your cup is full, you can certainly do more, give more, be more powerful than when you're operating from my cup is empty and I need you to fill me.
Right.
Okay, that's counterproductive.
But that's the default that we've been taught.
Right.
So we have to learn how to think kind of almost the opposite of everything we've been taught.
And so so the heart is so important to heal. And that's why they say we have a heart brain. And moving from your brain to your heart, and it is the heart of the world. When they talk about ascension and transformation and going to the heavenly realms, they're talking about you being in that love vibration.
Because heaven is within.
Because heaven is within. So manifesting that love. And that's knowing who you are. And I like, when I really feel that empowerment for myself, I feel like I walk around with the angels and people notice it. They notice when I'm feeling my empowered self out in the world, because they come up to me, strangers. Oh my God, who are you? Or I love your energy. Or your white hair, whatever. They do. They come up to me all the time. And that's how you know you're radiating as a light being and not as a darker force. And that's fun to practice, going into Starbucks and shifting the energy right in there. Just because you're making people feel happy.
Yeah. That's what it means to be the light and the way.
Yes, yes, yes. So we're wearing our crowns today. It's energizing our crown chakra and our connection to source.
And I like the sparklies.
And it's actually tingling my crown. And when I look at it, it reminds me I'm a little bit more than human today. And isn't that great? To feel a little bit more special.
Well, I think some of us, well, eventually all of us, are becoming superhuman.
Yes. Oh, I love that. We are becoming superhuman. Oh, you know what else about the heart? I just realized, if you have so injured your heart, you can only love another person or others, the world, as much as you love yourself. So if your heart is injured and you are not loving yourself, you actually, that's the highest vibrational level you're giving out love. Does that make sense? So if you're at a 5 out of 10, you're only giving out a 5 out of 10. You're only going to get it back.
Well, so
that's complicated.
Yeah, no, because it's reminding me of love each other as you love yourself, right?
Right.
But if you don't love yourself, how can you possibly love anybody else? And even so, here's this, even the quote in the Bible, right? Love each other as God has loved you. But how many people believe in a mean, judgmental, very conditionally loving God? Right. So people are only able to love other people with their own understanding of what love is. And for most people, love has a list of conditions attached to it. So this is about learning how to love ourselves no matter what. That's what people have a hard time getting to.
No matter what. Unconditionally love yourself, and that's why they talk so much about compassion. All right. I am not perfect. I don't know about Victoria. I haven't asked her.
I'm constantly having to load myself up with self-compassion.
Okay. right? So we're in front of you because we've learned some of these things to teach, because we've had to do. Well, I'm only going to speak for myself. I've had to learn. But loving yourself and compassion for yourself, it's like literally I have had to. Sometimes it's been so bad, I've actually imagined that I'm a little girl. I put a little girl in the chair right opposite me and I say, okay, you really didn't do it on purpose. I get it. I love you. I forgive you. I right? I've had to do that to myself, even to be my own mother, to give myself the love I didn't get, and that compassion. And that's also important.
Yeah, I refer to that a lot in my work as reparenting ourselves. So I had the fortune of, I discovered what unconditional love is by being a mom. I had no idea what unconditional love was until I had my own kids and started to realize, oh, that's what that is. To love myself no matter what, and love my children no matter what. And that and then reparenting myself as I was parenting my kids and seeing that I didn't receive that kind of love when I was a child. So I had to learn how to give it to myself. And I think that we do that for the rest of our lives in a way. We're reparenting ourselves. And I keep a picture of myself as a little girl in my wallet, my little 4-year-old self. And I keep pictures in my wallet of my kids when they were little, like 2, 3, 4 years old, to remind me that those little children are still inside my grumpy teenagers.
Oh,
and to try to remember that little child is still in there. And even though they're grown up and they don't need mommy anymore, they still kind of do.
Well, your daughter called and said, "When are you coming home, Mom?" So, kids, and my daughter's in London. She's 31. She still needs me sometimes. If things don't go right, she's on the, video chat. What do I do, Mom? What could happen?
Yeah. So the little girl in there still needs her mom.
And I want to be, and here's the truth. I want my little girl to be an adult woman, but I also love when she needs me in that little girl way. I do have to say that there's both those elements, but would it be healthy 24/7? Never.
No, those are codependent relationships and they're not healthy for anybody.
And then they become miracle busters.
Yeah.
Okay, when they love you so much, they squeeze onto you and don't let you breathe. So, all about discernment again. Our relationships, what do we really want? How do we walk among the world? How do we want to be seen in the world? Is also part of that. A fly-by-night person. Are you reliable, trustworthy? Do you have your own opinions? Are you a hothead? Are you gullible? Those are, interesting concepts to think about, I think.
Right. So we need to learn how to know ourselves.
Yes.
So the quote that I'm hearing is, "To thine own self be true," right? But we have to know ourselves first.
Right. So to you, what's self? And what is that self? Well, that self is usually a combination of what we've been told. All those soul contracts and programs, how to be a woman, how to be a man, how to be a daughter, how to be a worker, how to be a broadcaster, how to be I don't know. I think we've just been programmed to death.
And all the different, that's why I was talking before about peeling off all the layers of who we are not to get to the core of who we actually are, because we've had so many labels put on us and so many expectations put on us and all of the layers of beliefs other people have put on us, to get to back to the core of who we really are, who we came in as. And then as we start to get to the core of who we actually are, then we can start to see who we are not and who in our life is supporting who we really are. And sometimes that means letting go of family and friends who expect you to be someone that you're not. And it's so uncomfortable. When you start to get to know who you really are and what your life path is, it is incredibly uncomfortable to not be that.
Yes, and times are polarizing people now. So in a way, you're being forced to understand what you do feel. There's no free pass here anymore. You have to decide where you stand. And people are disavowing people and, finding new people. It's the great inner awakening. And I'm happy about that. 2021 is the year of freedom. So energetically, if you add up the numerology for this, it's a year of freedom. And freedom, what is the opposite of freedom? Is restriction. And in this year of 2021, that's, a little bit of, you can do this and this. No, we're taking it back. Or, you have to do this to do that. You have to wear the masks. You have to report to duty. Your cell phone can tell everyone where you're at. There's freedom versus restriction on a global, and then it goes down to personal.
Well, and we're starting to really see that this year, I think more than any other time, except for perhaps in other times in other countries where there has been a clampdown of freedom. This year, we're really seeing the polarity, the difference between freedom and control. And we've never seen that before in this country.
I'm not sure everyone's aware of the control. So
very few people are, because it's
so subtle. And
it's so easily disguised.
And the control comes from censoring. Tremendous amount of censorships, tremendous amount of, quote, fact checking, the fact checkers are the ones who are censoring. So it all goes to this, kind of goes hand in hand, this thing of discernment. Mm-hmm. I've even looking at the newspaper and going, well, this doesn't quite make sense. The moment something doesn't quite make sense, usually we gloss over it because, but discernment comes from looking at the things that don't make sense and then expanding upon that.
Oh, right. Why doesn't this make sense? Yeah.
Why doesn't it make sense? Why do people, if the vaccine, say, is so good, how come they have to offer $1 million to take it? Or how come they have to send people to your house to encourage you to take it? Mm-hmm. If it was so good, wouldn't we be begging and knocking down their door? So that's one particular, now I don't know how you all feel about that, but I'm just saying that's an area for discernment to look at.
Yeah.
Why is this happening?
But why are we not being given a choice?
Yes.
On that? Because that is something that, my body, my choice. I think we deserve to have again, it comes back to conscious choice because all of the information isn't being put out there about what the true side effects are.
That's important to say.
It's not conscious choice.
Yes.
We have choice, but it's not conscious choice. And I think enough of us need to start demanding conscious choice instead of just choice by default, which is how we've been running for thousands and thousands of years. In a fear-based reality, our choices are presented to us, but without all of the ingredients.
Look at Monsanto, or Roundup, all the things that are in our environment and GMO foods that now people are learning about, that somehow you need to really go organic and no preservatives. These chemicals are hurting us. You haven't read that until recently.
I mean, it's still not very
mainstream, or that the preservatives and chemicals in your food or in your detergents actually have a deleterious effect on your body. They are harming you.
Well, so those articles do come out, but what's really interesting is because they have to tell the truth, right? But it's like one blurb in the newspaper one day, and if you don't catch it, then you don't see it. So even with the Monsanto thing, there was the lawsuit, right? That somebody won, and that was a big deal for a couple of days, and then it got swept under the rug again because Peter bought Monsanto, and then it got right. So people forgot all about it because it was no longer talked about.
Right. So discernment, the food you eat. It's not just the people you hang out with; it's the food you eat. It's the cleaners that you use in your home. Everything impacts this body. We have a skin that absorbs toxins, it absorbs bad air, it absorbs everything, sunscreen, everything gets absorbed in your body or in your mind. We are impressionable because we're human. That is being a human. So we've been talking about how do you step into discernment and know what it is you want. Even the vaccines. So I have been for 40 years, since I actually started to learn about this new concept, and it was the old concept, health comes from within. There's many protocols, treatments that you can use to build your health within, but the government is now taking them all off the market. So again, they're taking off remedies that have been here for thousands and thousands of years, herbs, tinctures, homeopathy that have been proven to work. And the government is now, the FDA is actually taking everything like that off the market. So,
well, because the chemical companies can't make any money from it. So the chemical business, the chemical industry runs the entire planet. Right? It's in our food, it's in our medications, it's in what we drink, it's in our skincare products. It's interesting. It isn't love that runs the world. It's chemicals that run the world.
Chemicals and money. I read something about how much. Imagine this. Are mandated around the world. How much are the vaccine companies making? And then you have to have a booster
every 6 months. They're like this is the best cash cow.
And now they're talking about getting your dog and cat. So honestly, if you really stop back and think about it, where in that are they thinking about my health and wellness? And if something goes wrong, you can't even sue. You know that, right? You can't sue your doctor. You cannot sue your boss for making you do it. You can only go to the hospital and take care of yourself. You cannot get any
Yeah.
compensation.
They could kill half the population, and not that they would, but they could, and not have any recourse. You can't sue. Yeah.
Right. And so when the
So-
FEMA comes to your door, that soldier is not going to be, you can't sue that soldier if it interests you.
So
I didn't expect to talk about vaccines.
No,
but
and so so what we might end up having to do if the might have to go bleep through some of those words just to be.
We're going to bleep these guys, so bleep, bleep,
Yeah.
bleep, bleep. We're going to do that bleep, bleep. Discernment, you can use that word. You could use ascension. You could use happiness and joy.
There's some words that will get censored if we
Health from
actually,
within.
right?
You can use health from within. You can't use the B word.
So when we're
It's a
talking,
dirty word.
yeah, so that's why we talk about arm pokies. So if you see some bleeps in this video, it's because we've bleeped out the word that starts with a V.
Okay, and the word that starts with a P. Some people cannot use that.
That's why I call them chemical companies.
The chemical companies, and also, what's so interesting is that I've begun to see them referred to as the industrial complex, kind of like the military industrial complex. But now there's another industrial complex, because honestly, when they're making trillions of dollars and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, they're running the world in that way too. So discernment means looking around and seeing you, where you fit in the scheme of things, where your voice is, because 1 out of 8 billion, but where you stand. And so that's the great awakening that's happening. Awakening your potential, awakening who you are, awakening, oh my God. And there's so much room for opportunity now, because we are different now than when we started in last year, before we started going inside for the pandemic. We are all different. You are different today than you were 18 months ago.
Nobody's the same.
And we're not even set in stone yet, because we're still going to change. There's still shifts that are coming that we don't even know about yet.
That's why I started calling it the global holy shift about 1.5 years ago, because this is the first time the entire planet,
I love that.
all at once, is going through a holy shift, and it's not finished. We're going through. All of our systems are going to finish breaking down. So it can be very uncomfortable for people who don't understand that we're reconstructing our entire reality. In order to reconstruct our entire reality, the old reality has to break down. And so we might start to see the government fall apart. We might start to see the education system fall apart, which is part of what we experienced over 2020, was suddenly everybody's going to school at home because the entire education system has to shift. And we might start to see our political system start to completely crumble because of the corruption is going to be exposed from the very top to the very bottom. And our financial system is going to shift. So all of our systems are in the process of breaking down. That's really what this is about, is the breaking down of the old world so that we can create a new world. And the plan is that enough of us are awake enough to start creating the new reality on top of the old one, so that when the old one finishes falling apart, the new one is already in place. So part of the discernment is recognizing, this is what's happening.
Right.
I can see this is what's happening, and not go into fear and trauma and drama around it. Use the discernment tool of, I see that this is a necessary part of creating a new world, is to watch the old world fall apart and be able to look at it from that higher perspective. And all of it's about discernment. All of it comes down to
and
discernment.
now, then it gets also down to the following. Okay, up until 2020, then we had a whole set of being, a way of being that was sort of normalized. But now we're coming through this. We've gone through this great initiation, and who are we now?
Mm-hmm.
What values? Because everyone's going through a change, and we all came in, many of us, as leaders with a vision, with a mission to do, but because life was so intense, many people have not been able to unfold that whole aspect of it, of who am I? What am I here to do? What are my best gifts? And so going into this new energy that we are doing, it's really important to get a grip on your skills, on what you really did come here to do, and to finally put it into action. Not just a dream. Oh, when things change, I'll be a speaker, I'll be a teacher, I'll be an artist. No, it's like, these are the skills you're to start using now.
Right.
And letting go of anything. That's why I call it an activation. We let go of anything that stands in your way of you actually taking this dream, this vision, these goals, this thing that you know you are, and then bringing yourself out.
So when you have sessions with your clients, you're doing what do you call it? A soul awakening session?
I love soul awakening sessions.
And so when you're doing a soul awakening session with people, you're helping them find their gifts, you're helping them find their purpose. And then you also do an activation with them?
So it really depends on what's happening with the session. All the sessions like that are activations, just by beginning to know the true reasons of why you're here. Your big picture, like stepping out of your 3-day life and looking at it from above down, and you start to understand the players in your life, why these challenges happen, why you're writing that book, what it really means. And so we put it all into a perspective that gives you a sense of feeling ready to be this new you, to learn how to implement it in the world today. It's like, first we clear away what doesn't serve. Well, first you recognize it. Mm-hmm. You recognize what it is you always wanted, and then what's been in the way, and what do we need to clear, and then what are your best gifts to implement. And by the time we're done, you're ready. So like, nothing's worse than getting all ready, say, to launch a dream, a business, a goal, or a product. And then you get sick. And suddenly, or your computer breaks. You know, you're not aligned body, mind, and spirit for success. And so I guess I call it a little bit as we're really aligning now all your sides for you to really be you now. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm finding for me. So I can only speak for myself. The pandemic over the last 18 months I've been stepping up. I was told that there's only one Joan of Angels on the planet. There's only one of you. And if you don't use what the gifts you've been given here to use, Joan, this is what my guide said to me, there'll be another Joan of Angels on the planet. There's plenty of people who we're sending out messages to. One of them's going to want to do this work. If you're not ready, we'll just move on. Well, that's what so moved me. It was like, oh, no, you're not. Because I heard the voice that told me that. You know, you may be the only Joan of Angels today, but if you don't use those gifts we've given you, we'll go on. There are people who are ready to take that position. And that is what encouraged me through the pandemic to really step out. It gave me my motivation to come forward, because I want to be able to reach you. I had my own fears. You know, it was easier to hide in the closet than state, I'm Joan of Angels, here to help you step in the miraculous, okay?
Yeah. So I did the same thing. I stepped out of the spiritual closet finally. So I'd be like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, close the door, step back out, step back in. And I finally, in 2020, I got basically the same message. And look, you have work that you are here to do. And I've seen this in the past. If I didn't jump on it, somebody else wrote the book with my book title. Someone else, right? So if we're not the only ones getting the message. No one is ever the only one who gets the message. Right. It's just that some people do something with it and most people do nothing with it. So we have this purpose that we're here to do. So what I ended up doing in 2020, which sounds like you did too, is I finally stepped out of the spiritual closet and I locked the door behind me. So I can't go back in.
The same thing happened to me. I had Archangel Michael behind me with a sword, guarding that entryway over there, and said, you're not coming in here. You're doing your show. And that's how I launched my shows, with Michael actually standing there holding, like keeping that door shut so I couldn't turn around and hide again.
So you can't go back in, yeah.
And here we are doing it. Maybe we're one step ahead of you, but that's the work. The work is in grabbing onto that vision and dream you've had, and let's implement it. Let's activate it, awaken you to do it. There's another reason for that, is that when we step into our mission, look, we're helping you right now. Mm-hmm. If Victoria didn't do it and say yes, you wouldn't be here with us today, understanding whatever it is that we're saying that reaches you. And I'm encouraging you to say yes to your destiny. You know, to be one of the chosen ones, we must choose. And I think that's what we're about.
You know, I hadn't heard that before. So, you know, there's this saying, many are called, few are chosen, or something like that, right? But I never realized in order to be one of the chosen ones, we choose. Thank you for that clarification.
You have to say yes. When they told me to paint 33 angels in 30 days, I later found out that they told thousands and thousands of people. Tina Marie, who helps me with my show, told me that, oh yeah, Joan, they asked me to do that too, but I didn't have time. I wasn't ready. Now they will come back around, okay? Mm-hmm. Let's hope you're ready then. Let's help you get ready. Be the leader. Be who you came here to be. You'll be much happier. And we need you, because when you're doing your work, we're raising the vibratory frequency
of the entire
planet.
Yep.
Because the planet's only as vibrant as the lowest frequencies. So those hellish kind of misery people, those people bring down the frequency. It's about time we bring it all up.
So that to me is what Yeshua, as I prefer to call him, meant when he said to love your enemies. So it's if we want to create heaven on earth, it's about us wishing all of those people at the very bottom with the lowest vibrational frequency, we want them to be healed too, ultimately. Mm-hmm. So that loving our enemies is about sending them love and wishing them well, because if their vibration is raised, the entire planet's vibration is raised. And instead, what I'm seeing, so many people who call themselves light workers or call themselves awake, who are spewing hatred and anger and blame and resentment toward all those people who are low vibration and have no idea they are actually contributing to the low vibration by doing that.
Right. No, absolutely, I agree.
So I send them light. I send them love. I wish them well. I wish every person's heart on the planet to be healed.
I agree. And I wish all of you guys out there listening, I'm so happy we have an audience with us and that we have stepped into our mission, which has to do with helping all of you guys step into your mission. I feel really aligned with what I'm doing now. I'm in my happiness factor.
Me too. In our happy place.
So you find a miracle ally who you trust, mm-hmm. who resonates with you, who you feel is the right, has the answers with you, and start uncovering, what am I here to do? What is my mission? What are my dreams and visions and goals that it's time for me to implement? Because this is the time to implement. All systems are ready to be aligned here.
Yeah. So if you do end up booking a soul, what is it again?
Well, it's a soul awakening session, and I do soul awakening coaching, because what happens is this. I outline to you all the different areas of what needs, where you are. I'm a psychic intuitive. I outline this with you. We look at your life, and then we look at the steps you can take. And some people, it's a lot. Change is a lot. And so I can be your miracle ally to help you make those changes. And so I have a soul awakening coaching program that's about 6 months where we work together. And I have people work with me for a long time. One of my favorite clients came to me because she wanted freedom, mm-hmm. personal freedom. And this month she is moving 2.5 years later. That's how it did take a long time to get things in alignment. She's moving to the East Coast this month. I'm so excited. And when I see that, and the thing people come to me a lot for is, well, how do I actually do this? How do I implement my dream? What is my dream now? So I love to do that. You can find me, joanofangels.com.
Yeah, and we'll have a link to your...
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good.
In the comments, we'll have a link to all of Joan's goodies. And so you can get in touch with her there.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I do like that. I love growing. I just love growing and reaching more people, because my mission has been to heal and inspire every soul on the planet to raise their vibrational frequency.
Yes, absolutely. And the important thing is that we now, and it's a little bit harder, but we do need to go out of our way to find other people who will support us in this new world we're creating. And granted, there are a lot of people who are not, who can't see it, but there are enough of us that do. And find your miracle allies and your support systems and your community that assist you in becoming all that you have the potential to be. And that here's one thing that I don't think a lot of people understand. Every single one of us, we're actually encoded in our being with greatness. All of us. Like trees. Trees are coded to grow into these giant, beautiful trees. So are human beings. And it's only the fear-based beliefs that have been encapsulated our possibilities that are preventing us from becoming all that we have the potential to be, and the purpose that we all came in for. And that's one of the things that you help with, is helping people find their purpose and helping people grow into this magnificent being that they were meant to be, and help to break down everything that they're not.
I love it.
Yeah.
I like the way you said it too. And it's true. It's true, because this is the time for transformation and personal change. It's because everyone's changing. So, moving, uprooting, new lives, new work, everything. So this is your opportunity, I think, to have that happen.
Yeah. And then you'll get to the point where you will feel perfectly comfortable wearing your crown, because you will recognize your own divinity and royalty within you.
And God, and hopefully you will have miracle allies as fun as this one. Right?
Yeah, it's been fun. So is there anything else that you want people to know before we say farewell?
Oh my God, you are so loved. You are so loved, honored, and cherished. You have the complete potential and possibility to be that who you've always dreamed you are. Please do that. And if you'd like my help, I'd love to help you.
So that's it for today. Thank you, Joan, for opening up your home to me and inviting me to stay here with you for a couple of days. And we got so much work done. We have been what I call heart storming, because everything we do now is about opening up our heart and opening up the hearts and healing the hearts of humanity and creating this new heart-based, love-based reality. And you opened up your home and let me stay with you and play in the pool with you and a few other things.
She told me she wanted to laugh when she got here. It's like, well, I don't know. I don't go around laughing because I live by myself. But we laughed.
We have laughed.
We laughed almost the whole weekend. And yet we got so much work done that we're here with you, all of you. So that's my message for everyone. Be you. Discern what's not you.
And let go of everything that doesn't serve you.
You know what I like about you, Victoria? We use so much of the same languaging.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been my next sentence. That's what I'm trying to say. I would have said, and let go of everything that doesn't serve you.
Yeah.
So we are so similar.
Yes. Yep. Well, because we do the same kind of work and we're tapped into the same vibrational frequency of love.
Yes, yes. And I don't know about you, but I love these people. I love each and every one. I'm so grateful that we get to play. So.
Yeah, and we get to play on camera. So
So
for those of us that like the camera,
yes,
being a broadcaster's like dream come true, because we get to just play.
I want to tell all of you Victoria fans that you will see me soon, because I'm intending to come back on the show.
Oh, and we might actually have our show together, which is one of the reasons we wanted to show you our crowns. We're talking about having a show that is just, well,
they'll find out
spill
later.
the beans later. But there's something
away.
that we might be doing with crowns down the road.
With the crowns down the road. All right, guys.
Okay. Thank you for watching, everyone. We hope that you have had a great time. If you love what you see and you hear on this channel, please leave your love notes in the comments below. Make sure you share it forward to anybody that you think would appreciate the messages that we have here. And Remember to subscribe so that you get reminded when our next episodes come up. And as always, remember to hold your light so high that others can't help but see their own light. And get bold, be fearless, and live free. Mwah.